The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. When Jesus had risen early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had driven 7 demons. She went and told his companions, who were mourning and weeping. When they heard that he was alive and had been seen by her, they did not believe. After this he appeared in another form to 2 of them walking along on their way to the country. They returned and told the others, but they did not believe them either. But later, as the 11 were at table, Jesus appeared to them and rebuked them for their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they had not believed those who saw him after he had been raised. He said to them, "Go into the whole world and proclaim the gospel to every creature." This is the good news of our salvation. As the last day of this Easter week, we have a summary of the apparitions of Jesus as they are found in the other Gospels that were read earlier in the week, the Gospels of Matthew, John, and Luke. But the message is still the same. It's the message of the liturgical feast of Easter, the resurrection of the Lord. It is one of joy, hope, as we as Christians realize the identity of Jesus as God in human terms and someone who is desperately trying to make our life happy and at peace, the peace that only he can give. But at the same time, we are challenged to examine carefully our own faith in Jesus, because there are so many challenges, even evil attacks on our faith in the modern world, and these are increased because of the new means of communication. In today's gospel, we find St. Mark telling us in the summary of the apparitions that they did not believe these witnesses to Jesus. And in the modern world, we have that happening, that the testimony of those who believe are not accepted. I was deeply depressed when I was looking at CNN before Easter on Good Friday, and they were interviewing ordinary people in London. Now, this is a supposedly Christian country, but they asked the ordinary people walking down the street, "What is Good Friday? Who is this Jesus who died on Good Friday?" And they didn't get an answer that made sense from any of these people. They didn't even know who Jesus was, even though England has its own Protestant religion and a Catholic religion. And the Holy Father recently visited England. And yet, so many of the people were completely ignorant who Jesus is. And so we find the world in which we are living is not a time or a place for complacency that we have believed in Jesus, but we have an obligation, as we find in today's gospel, to share our faith. Religion is not private. It's to be proclaimed because it brings peace, communion, commitment. It is a family that brings light and love to others. And so that is the challenge of our celebrating the feast of Easter. It is not simply my faith, my relationship with Jesus, but as a Christian believer, I have the obligation to share that faith with others. And that I can only do if I open myself to Jesus and allow Him to tell me what He wants me to do. And so I must love Him more than ever before by doing what He wants and not what I want, because what He wants is best for me, best for my loved ones, and best for the whole world. So as we continue to live our Christian life, we realize the importance of our encountering Jesus in the holy sacrifice of the liturgy, the sacrament of Holy Eucharist. It is there that Jesus comes to us in 4 different ways. The first way is in the celebrant, who is presiding over the Eucharist. The second is in the Scriptures, where Jesus speaks to us through the authors of the New Testament. And then the third way is in the assembly, the participants, because Jesus said, where there are 2 or 3 gathered together in my midst, I am in the midst of them. And finally, we receive Jesus in the intimacy of Holy Communion. And so we are energized, enlightened, and motivated to deepen our Christian faith by the feast of Easter.